Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm George Campbell, joined by my good pal, Mr. Ken Coleman, this hour, and we're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. You call in, we'll talk about your life, your money, your work, the toxic boss, that job that you're really dreaming of, and how you can take steps to get there. And Ken, this has been a hot topic, especially this year with the hot job market. People are going, I've got options.
Yeah.
What do I do next?
Yeah. I saw something this morning, a new survey that came out that said 42% of Americans are saying they're going to demand a raise this year to keep up with inflation.
Is that how it works?
And I just chuckled. You know, a good chuckle. It's not a true laugh. It's a chuckle. Like, these people cannot demand a raise to keep up with inflation because that's going to actually create more problems involving inflation. And you've got so many Americans who can't even name the 3 branches of government. So I'm not surprised if
Don't
people
quiz me, Ken.
are going to demand that their boss give them a raise for a cost of living. First of all, it doesn't work that way, or people will be out of business. And secondly, you're going to get laughed at and you might get fired. So see how that works out for you. We're here to help you with things like that because the bottom line is if you're living debt-free, and even if you're in the robust zone of gazelle intensity, you can be inflation-proof. People who stand on that debt-free stage every day are inflation-proof. I'm inflation-proof. You're inflation-proof. Is it because we're better than anybody else? No. It's because we have margin and we have peace. So, you know what? We live in a topsy-turvy time. So, yes, we'll talk about your work as well because, as Dave has said, it's your greatest wealth-building tool, your income tied to your work. And so we'll help you. We'll help you in that process however we can because it's tied to money, it's tied to relationships, and your overall health. So,
your quality of life.
How about that for a setup?
I love it. All right, well, give us a call if you're interested in that pitch right there. 888-825-5225. Angel kicks us off in Dallas. Angel, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks so much for taking my call.
Sure.
George and Ken. Just my lucky day. I get to talk to Ken as well as you, George. I love your show.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. We should record that, James, and we'll play that for our wives.
I did not pay Angel anything to say those nice things about us.
It's very nice.
I always love every drink that you suggest on Smart Happy Hour.
Oh, thank you for listening.
Wow.
I wish Rachel was here to hear this instead of Ken.
Yeah. Well,
she needs the validation.
My question really is probably geared more toward you. My husband is 42, and I am 50. We have 2 children, and one is going off to college in June. And then we will have 1 child left in high school. We make about $335,000 each year. He would like to retire when our youngest graduates high school in 3 years, so at 45, because he's been in the job in financial services for 22 years since he graduated college, but it's not very fulfilling. But, I just don't know if that's the right time to retire at 45. We don't have any debt. Our house is worth $835. It's paid off.
Wow, congrats.
And we have about $1.3 million in retirement savings. So I would like to encourage him to, yes, change careers. I just don't know when the right time is financially for that to happen.
Well, that's a very interesting question coming from you. And I think that your safety gland is probably flaring a little bit. Is that fair?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let me just tell you as a objective bystander here, it shouldn't be. You guys are fine. This is not a man who is a lazy loafer. It's not a man who's confused. He's not having a midlife crisis. I think this is a guy, I'm taking a stab here, tell me if I'm right or wrong, that has done the same thing since he got out of college. He's done quite well at it. You guys have a lot of margin. And at the age of 45, because he has less pressure, he wants to shift. He wants to pivot. And you should be totally in support of that because I don't think this guy is going to just shut it down for the rest of his life. I think he's going to move on to something even more exciting and might even move on to something more profitable financially. So I think this is a good move because of your position. You guys have no debt in the world, a fat retirement, and I think him stepping away and reassessing as this season comes to an end when your youngest goes off to college, I think it's a great decision because he wants to do it and he can do it. Therefore, I'm fine with it.
Awesome.
How do you feel
great.
now?
What are your fears around that, Angel? Is it financial, or is it, I don't know what he's going to do. He's not even halfway through his life. He's going to sit there all day? Is that it?
I just think he doesn't know what he wants to do. And even though he would like to leave, he's feeling those golden handcuffs and thinking, if I leave, will we have, be able to provide health care for the children? And sometimes kids come back. And I'm thinking we could just sell this house and have a smaller house, but he would like to move into an apartment and not own anything. And
you're like, wait a second, Sparky, that's my nest you're talking about.
And you want to keep your McMansion and have your nice life.
I see what's going on. Okay, couple things. Angel, number one, he's got 3 years, if I heard you correctly. He's got 3 years to figure this out. That's plenty of time. And he's got 3 years to do it under no pressure at all. That's even better. So I'm going to give you my Get Clear career assessment for your husband. Okay, Chris is going to give that to you as my gift. I'm also going to give him the book From Paycheck to Purpose, which outlines the 7 stages to moving into the real dream job, not a fantasy, but something that he absolutely loves and something that matters to him. It's doable. He's got 3 years to figure this out. That's more than enough time. And he has all the clues, all the details that he needs. He's been doing good work for a long time. And so he's going to retire to something, not from something. Mm. And I think if I were to say to him today, hey, I can guarantee you that we can get you into something at 45 that you really, really enjoy, that lights your heart up, and you can make really good money and never even miss the old job. What do you think he would say to me?
He would say, sign me up.
Okay, so we are signing him up. So it starts with the assessment and the book From Paycheck to Purpose. And from there, he's got everything he needs to go and explore and make connections and figure out that thing that he wants to do. You got it?
Got it. Awesome.
And that means you get to keep the McMansion.
Woo! That's a big piece of this puzzle. They are not in agreement on what kind of life they want to have going forward.
Yeah.
That's the bigger piece of this. We can figure out the finances. You can go make more money, but I like where this is going. We have some homework to do, but I think they're on the path to being financially independent.
I think once he figures out that thing, he'll cave on the apartment thing. I think that's an extreme reaction to a guy who's just tired of being in the hamster wheel.
Amen. Thanks for the call, Angel. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're buying a home in today's market, it takes more than hope and an internet search. You need a team that you can trust through thick and thin. That's why I've recommended Churchill Mortgage for 30 years. The experts at Churchill know their stuff, and they'll take care of you the Ramsey way. That's why Churchill is the only Ramsey trusted mortgage company. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more. churchillmortgage.com.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Ramsey personality Ken Coleman. The number to call if you want to jump into the conversation is 888-825-5225. And we'll be here for you. I know it's scary to use that phone app on your phone instead of whatever else the kids are using it for, but it's the only way currently to get advice on the show. I get a lot of DMs on Instagram saying, hey, can you help me? I say, call the show. Yeah. Don't be scared. We're here.
Yeah, I love the DMs, but it's very hard to answer these complex questions via DMs.
Yeah, and Ken's got to get his readers on. It's a whole situation.
Yeah, I can't type with my thumbs like George can. Did you just tell everybody that I use readers?
I don't think anyone's shocked by that.
Well, a lot of people are. Most of the people in the lobby think I'm about 35.
They thought you had 20/20 vision.
Yeah,
It's fine. You look great in them, Ken. You got some stylish ones.
Not as good as you look in that child-size jean jacket.
I knew it was coming. I was waiting for an Oshkosh Bagosh reference.
It's Ken, all I got. It's all I. It's a wonderful jean jacket. You look great. It looks like an adult small.
That would be accurate.
Is it? It's not extra small?
I have no idea.
Okay. Right.
I don't look at those things, Ken. It just, if it fits, I sits. There we go.
Nice. I like that. I do like that.
Oh, let's get to the calls before James takes us off the air. Here we go. Kimberly's up next in San Diego. Kimberly, save us from ourselves. How can we help?
Hi, George and Ken. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure. You bet. You sound like you're in a fantastic mood.
I am.
Good.
I am in a good mood.
Good for you. That's exciting. How can we help?
Thank you. So my question is about investing, specifically for my twin daughters. They're in a bit of a unique situation. They've filmed a handful of commercials.
Nice.
And so they've earned a little bit of money. So I'm just looking for some advice on how to invest that.
How old are your daughters?
They're 4.
How fun.
Were they just so stoked on this?
Yeah, it's been pretty fun for them.
Was it print or film?
So the first one they did was film, and that was when they were babies. They were like 2 months old.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
They're experienced actresses by this point.
I guess so, yeah. So the ones this year, they haven't come out yet, so we're not exactly sure how they're going to be used. But they had 2 this year.
That is so fun. My daughter, actually all 3 of my kids did some early acting, and my daughter has stayed with it. So how much money are we talking about?
It's not a lot. This year, it's about $5,000 each.
Nice.
That's a lot for a 4-year-old.
I was going to say.
You give a 4-year-old a $10 bill, they think they can retire.
I know.
So $5,000 each. That's awesome. Where is it now?
So I was thinking, it's just in the bank, but I was thinking of investing in mutual funds for them, just because. Well, I'm just not sure. I want it to be accessible for them when they're 18, so they can decide how they want to use it. But then I was also wondering, since they do have earned income, if I should put some of it into Roth for them, or if that's kind of silly.
No, that's not silly at all. It's one of the greatest life hacks of all time, and because you have to have earned income to contribute to a Roth IRA. And so the one caveat, kind of loophole, is if your child does legitimate work like they have done, you can actually invest that money. And we talk about compound growth on the show all the time. If you let that money just sit for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, I mean, they're going to be multi-millionaires just from the work they're doing today. So you're thinking the right way.
Okay.
And I love what Ken did for his kids and the way they process this when they get a check, because it's a 4-year-old, right? So it's a weird thing to try to explain to this 4-year-old that they just got all this money and what to do with it, right? You're kind of the financial advisor right now.
So what we did for Josie, I think she was 7 when she did one of her first paid ads. It was a print ad for like Fazoli's, I think. Like she had breadsticks or something like this. So anyway, she was old enough to understand, like, I'm getting paid. And I think she made $1,500, which, again, fantastic money. She's 7. And so we sat her down and, we understood that she understood that she was getting, paid for doing this modeling and this little acting job. And so we explained the concept of giving. And so we pulled out a chunk and we let her put it in the offering plate at church that week, right? And then we gave her some money to spend. And I think we gave her like $100 or something, which again, you would have thought, I mean, this kid's eyes bugged out of her head. It was like, this is your $100. You can put it in your little bank. We had the Ramsey Give, Save, Spend little, I don't know if we still make those.
Oh, yeah. I think they just updated it, actually.
Yeah, so she could see it. I think we gave it to her in 520s because it just felt so awesome for her. And then we told her that we put the rest in the savings, and we put it in her 529 account that she could, use later as she goes into any kind of training or any type of education. So that's what we did. We just explained it to her. And again, at the age of 7, she was able to understand it. And so
4 might be a little bit
4
early
is
for that.
probably a little early, but let them experience the fruits of their labor. It was so exciting to let her go. I mean, I was like, you can blow it. Because it wasn't about being wise with it. She's 7. She's already being wise with the money. It was like, go buy something fun. I think she bought a Build-A-Bear and, whatever 7-year-old girls love to buy. It was just all a bunch of nothing. She was excited. But it was the reward piece that she got. I worked, I get the reward, and then I've also been smart with it and I saved it. So we were very practical with it. So whether or not you want to do the Roth or the 529, I think that's a great move. But let them spend some of it and then teach them to give some of it.
Okay. So about the Roth, does that tie it up until retirement for them?
Now, technically, in most cases, the Roth you're not going to be able to access until 59 and a half. You can take out the contributions that you've put in without penalty, but even then, I wouldn't, because you're unplugging that compound growth that's building. And the way your kids are going to be set up, they're not going to need to dip into their retirement accounts for money. And so you could do a few things. I would put most of it in that Roth IRA. I think that's a great move. You could put a little bit of it in a 529 into a high yield savings account and just let that money grow into kind of a custodial account for them at the bank. And then, like Ken said, give a little bit of it. Spend a little bit of it. What's the toy they've been wanting? All right, let's go get them the toy. You worked hard for this, and that comes from work. So I would just say leave it in that Roth. They're going to thank you later. When you start doing the calculations on $5,000 in a Roth IRA from age 4 to 64, it will explode your brain. It is going to be so much money, even if you never added to it. And so that's what I love about that. They're going to be like, Mom, thank you for doing that because you just made me a millionaire at 4 years old, and I didn't even know it. That's changing your family tree.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, you're a good mom, Kimberly.
Mom
That's
of
fun.
the year, Kimberly.
Yeah, how about that? I can't wait until your little princess comes to you and says she wants to act or maybe sing or write.
I need to ask you about this, Ken. So those of you that don't know, I had a baby. I didn't have a baby. My wife had a baby less than 4 weeks ago. We're coming up on 4 weeks. And I'm already thinking about the 529, and I don't want to push her towards acting, but it's one of those loopholes where you can go, if she can contribute to that Roth at 2 months old, that's a game changer for her future. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts about that, Ken, pushing your kid into something like, do you kind of encourage it, let them explore their passions? Obviously, they're so young.
So parents, don't push your kids into anything. That's the problem we've got with this current generation. They've been pushed and they've been coddled. And so they've not had a chance to make their own decisions. So what you want is if your little kid comes to you and says, hey, Daddy, I want to try soccer, then go, great, and sign them up for soccer. If they hate it 2 weeks in, say you got to finish the season.
Oh.
Teach them some life lessons. Then if they come to you and say, I want to try guitar, say, great, and go get them guitar lessons. And if they want to quit after 2, say, nope, you got to finish. And you rinse and you repeat. And eventually, they're going to do something that makes the tuning fork of their heart go off. And now, parents, you've let them discover it. And it's what they love to do. It's not reliving your childhood dreams that you never met. Ouch.
Beautifully
That's
said.
good advice.
This is The Ramsey Show.
Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Ken Coleman. If you enjoy this show, I imagine you would enjoy some of the other shows on the Ramsey Network, including The Ken Coleman Show, the George Camel YouTube channel, Smart Money Happy Hour, which I co-host with Rachel Cruz. We have a lot of fun on that one. Very different style. We don't take calls. It's just fun, pop culture, comedy.
And real
riffing.
cocktails. We had a previous caller who said she loved the drink suggestions.
It's fun. And we made one live at Smart Conference, a mocktail.
I understand.
It was one of the best I've had.
And I saw the recipe for that and took a picture of it on my phone, and I'm going to do the real deal.
Wow.
By the way,
it's an honor.
Is there any truth to the rumors in the back of the Suburban when we were riding back to the hotel? You and Rachel were promising me
that you would be a guest on Smart Money Happy Hour.
Is this a bad time to bring that up?
It's not, as long as John Deloney's not listening, because he's also wanting a coveted guest spot on Smart Money Happy Hour.
I see. Okay.
I don't pull the string scan. I'm not the producer.
Okay.
We're just the talent. We're the mere talent, but it would be an honor to have you.
You guys were talking a big game.
I think
how
you
much
would
fun it would be for me to be on. And
you'd add a lot of value.
I think I would.
All right, we'll let America weigh in.
People love to blame their producers for when they don't want to have people on, you know.
That's true. Well, the producer.
You should have heard it in the back of the car. They were laying it on thick. Hey, you should come on and blah, 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 blah. But I keep checking my inbox.
Still nothing.
Nothing there.
Keep dreaming.
Okay.
All right, let's go to the phones. If you want to jump in, the number to call is 888-825-5225. We'll help you take the right next step with your life, your work, and, of course, your money. Josh is in Albany, New York. Josh, welcome to The Ramsey Show. How you doing?
Hey, fellas. Thanks a ton for taking the time to chat with me today. I appreciate it. Hey, so I find myself kind of at a bit of a positive financial crossroads in my life. I just started a new job in Long Island that pays $125K a year, which is more than double my previous salary. It's great. But I currently live in Albany, New York. So
wow.
I have been commuting down, and it's about, anywhere from 6 to 8 hours a day of driving, depending on traffic.
Oh, hold on a second. How long have you been commuting 6 to 8 hours a day?
It's only been 2 weeks, and it is on a hybrid schedule. So I'm only in the office 2 days at the moment. So it's not exceptionally brutal. And it will probably be 3 days on site, moving forward. And my initial intention was to move down to the city, but the more I do the math, the more I think about it, the more I'm debating just doing the commute and functionally doubling my already doubled salary,
Ooh, are you married? Kids? What's your status?
No, single as the day is long.
Okay.
I don't even have a house plant to worry about.
I think it's bananas that you're even considering doing this, but the fact that you're single is the only scenario.
Yeah. How old are you?
By which I could do that.
32.
32. Okay. Well, I'll tell you, it's not a sustainable solution.
No.
Even 2 or 3 days a week, your mental health is going to suffer. You'll be calling the Dr. John Deloney show shortly here because of this. So we've got to find a solution. And if that means finding a different job, finding a job that's closer that can pay you that, or moving to Long Island and figuring it out. Maybe you get a roommate for a while to be able to afford the cost of living there.
Here's an idea. Why don't we get rid of the extreme, Josh, and why don't we think 30 miles, 40 miles outside of Long Island? Let's get outside a little bit where maybe the cost of living is not as much as being, right there where you work. Split the difference a good ways here. I just think you're going to eventually get miserable. You're going to be miserable with all that. And by the way, that's just not good for you, your health. It's just not good for you. Putting a lot of miles on your car, there's just a lot of diminishing returns to this. I'd really like to talk you out of it.
Okay.
So George is the best at this. All right. So I'm gonna tap George here on the shoulder, tag team here. Let's talk him through roommate. Let's walk through his raise plus cost of living. Let's walk through this.
Here's what happens, Josh. People tend to go, well, I've got A and B. A is I stay in Albany, I commute 8 hours, or B, I move to Long Island and I'm broke. And I go, what about C, D, E, F, G? I mean, you go down through the alphabet here. And so let's talk through those scenarios. Could you move closer to Long Island, but not directly in the city, and have a half-hour commute, 45-minute commute?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm going anywhere even close to the city, my minimum commute is already going to be like an hour, even unless I can find something explicitly like in the township that I would be in, but the cost of living there is actually much higher because it's kind of a rich area. So I've been looking at like maybe Poughkeepsie, something to cut it in half, maybe an hour and a half commute each day.
So how much more is it?
Don't mind the drive.
How much more does it cost you to live in Poughkeepsie? By the way, I love saying that word.
I knew it. I was just thinking Ken loves saying that word.
It just came out of my mouth and it felt so good. So I'm going to say it again. Poughkeepsie.
There it is.
There it is. How much more is it to live there than where you're living now in Albany?
Well, my current situation in Albany, my rent is $575 a month, which I'm never going to live this cheap again in my life.
Yeah, are you in a box?
No, it's actually a great apartment.
Wow.
My room is like 400 square feet. It's gigantic.
400 square feet is never gigantic. But how much difference?
Not the whole apartment, just my bedroom.
Your bedroom. Okay. What's the difference in cost?
Probably I'm looking at a minimum of at least $1,500 increase in rent, probably $2,000 in rent.
For a one-bedroom?
Sounds about appropriate. Yeah, probably $1,500 to $2,000, somewhere in there.
What about a two-bedroom?
Probably only a little bit more, maybe $2,200.
Okay, so that's where I'm going with this. You get one roommate, a similar, guy like you, in his 20s, early 30s, single, and just looking to have a place to crash. That's all you're looking for. A guy who's clean, who can pay on time. Now your rent is $1,100, right? But you also just gained 7 hours of your life back every single day.
Yeah. And not to mention, you just doubled your salary, correct?
Yeah, more than that.
Okay,
so doubling your rent payment is not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not like you're going backwards. I think in your mind, you're so stuck on this unbelievable rent that you have, $500 a month, which is unbelievable. It's like you're in the Stone Age. Somehow you've managed that. That's phenomenal. Good for you. But you're looking at that and the increase over that, and you're not looking at how much better your life is. This great job that you love, you over double your salary. I think you need to be focusing on that, and this is about stretching and growing, and you can handle a $1,500 a month, one bedroom. That's not outrageous, given the money he's making.
Yeah, well, do you have any debt?
Just my car, which is about $32,000, but that's it.
How much do you owe on that?
On the car?
Yeah, is it 32?
Yeah, 32.
Oh, what's it worth?
Probably about that. It's a 2022 Subaru Outback. I just bought it earlier this year.
Yeah, but dude, you are just appreciating the snot out of that thing with all that driving.
Yeah. You're going to put 100,000 miles on that thing in a year the way you're going.
That's the number one reason to move. Is that right there?
Yeah, you're going to be underwater on that car if you aren't already.
It's going to be screaming at you, swearing at you, puffing.
I'd get you a Prius if you're going to be driving 7 hours a day.
There you go.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think you know what to do, Josh. The hard part is letting go of this amazing rent and dealing with the idea of having a roommate and moving again. But man, it is worth it. You doubled your income, and there's got to be some sacrifices that come along with that if you're going to keep this job long term.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you got this, man. You're not doing anything crazy. I mean, he's really nervous about that rent.
I can't picture taking a road trip every single day just to go to work and back. When is he leaving the house? 2 a.m.? He's probably not sleeping.
I didn't want to ask that because I was afraid I was going to break out in a rash just for him. Just the anxiety of thinking about 6 to 7 hours?
6 to 8 hours total.
6 to 8 hours
so
total.
We're talking, that's probably 3 or 4 each way, I imagine.
And then he goes, well, it was only a couple of days a week. I don't care if it's once a month. That would drive me bananas.
No, thank you.
I don't like to be in a car very long.
You need your beauty sleep. You don't get this with 3 hours, 4 hours of sleep.
Look, it takes a few minutes to do this hair, too. This doesn't happen in a couple of minutes. There's a process here, George.
We both have our process. Well, I don't think your personal sanity, your physical health, your mental health is worth commuting to that job. Even if it's a dream job.
Yeah.
You're living a nightmare.
Do not forget that hampers your ability to do your job well and potentially get promoted. So this is a holistic life decision here. I hope he goes closer. And I hope he lives in Poughkeepsie because I like saying it.
Ken was just dying for a call from Poughkeepsie, y'all. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, if you're in over your head with student loans and tired of getting calls from collection agencies, if private student loan debt is taking away your financial peace and you don't see any way out, you need Refi. They're not a debt settlement company and they're not connected to a bank. Refi refinances defaulted private student loans that other places won't touch and gives you a custom loan built for you based on your ability to pay. So when you refinance your private student loan debt with Refi, you'll have a payment you can afford with a low fixed interest rate you couldn't get anywhere else to help you stick to your budget and work the debt snowball. And you can save thousands of dollars. To learn more about this custom refinancing option and a lump sum payoff option you could qualify for after 24 months, call 844-2-RAMSEY or go to yrefi.com/Ramsey.
This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Campbell, joined by Ken Coleman this hour. It's a free call at 888-825-5225. You call us up. We'll talk about your life, your work, and your money. And hey, if you're a new listener to this show, first of all, welcome. We know you have a lot of options when you fly. We appreciate you checking this one out. And if you want to dive deeper into the Ramsey baby steps and some of the lingo we dish out on the show, you can go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button, and we'll help you figure out the next best step for your journey based on where you're at today. That's RamseySolutions.com. Click on Get Started.
By the way, I should also say to those who may want to come see us, we have a great group of people in the lobby today.
Yes.
When you said the whole, you have many choices when you fly, if you come watch the show live at our world headquarters here just south of Nashville, we don't give you pretzels and peanuts. We give you fresh baked goods, cookies, cakes, lemonades, bottled water, hot coffee, cold coffee, and so there you go.
And a free mug.
You get a free mug?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
And of course, it costs nothing to watch the show. Although if times get tough, I guess we could charge and see if anyone, donations at the door kind of thing.
That is true. We could.
But it's a great time. We love meeting people from all around the world. We had someone from Germany.
Yeah, we just met a nice lady from Germany. So who knew?
So we're open for business. Come by and see us. All right, Sean is in New Orleans.
I like how you said that, George. Nolans.
How are we doing, Sean?
I'm doing great. You're talking to one of the original George Hamill fans here. I was a George Hamill fan before he was a Ramsey personality.
Long timer.
I need to know more. What period of time was this?
this was when he was doing the commercial breaks.
Oh, the YouTube.
Doing the money.
I thought you were like from you went to high school with me.
That's
I appreciate that.
I was hoping you were like his high school shop teacher and you were about ready to drop some knowledge on us. So, okay, good.
I love it. Well, thank you, Sean.
No, I'm all right. So I'll get to the question.
Yes.
So I'm at the opposite end of the spectrum here. You had a guest there asking how to deal with 4 or 5 year old kids and setting them up. I've got a 75-year-old mother who is still working as a flight attendant.
Wow.
Saved up about $1 million. So we've been on a withdrawal plan for the last 10 years since she was 65. So we've got about half of her money in a Roth outside from the withdrawals, and the other half is in regular cash, and she has about $500,000 left in the pre-tax 401k portion. So she's in the I guess the winter of her life, and it's going to be having to look at drawing down eventually. So my original plan was to do tranches and annuitize the $500,000 as opposed to drawing down further. But with inflation, I know that's been a main concern that y'all have been talking about. I'm concerned that with an annuity or slowly annuitizing it, that if inflation does take off, that it will essentially destroy the value of the monthly payments on the annuity. So one of the things I was considering, I know, Dave is typically not a fan of gold, but as far as the drawdown portion to where managing her finances over a 1 to 9 year period in the liquid phase, beyond baby step 3, as far as the 3 to 6 months of emergencies funds, excuse me, was to use a portion of that, not with physical gold, but gold funds, that's something that you can easily turn into liquid cash, in the market. I just wanted to get your thoughts on gold funds that hold physical gold on your behalf as a hedge for somebody in the twilight years to try to protect their purchasing power of what they have. So I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, I appreciate the question. I love that you're thinking about this to help your mom, retire with dignity and keep this money alive as long as possible. But even a gold fund versus gold itself, the problem with gold is, and we talked about this on yesterday's show with Dave, is that it doesn't produce anything. And so what you're looking for is a growth stock mutual fund, companies that have publicly traded stocks that are focused on growth. And what that does, they're producing something called profit. They're creating revenue out there in the economy, and that's going to give you a much higher return in the long term. And so what is the $500,000 currently invested in inside of that 401k?
So about 15 to 20% of it in the growth stocks that you talk about. The remaining, and so it's a 401k. It's basically in the interest income fund, which I guess is growing around 6% right now. Because my main concern is, just on a historical basis, growth stocks appear to be significantly overvalued relative to where the mean is over history. I think the S&P, for example, typically trades at a 15 multiple. It's about 25 now. So it seems like the odds...
You're saying, hey, what happened the last 30, 40 years is not going to happen the next 30, 40 years. Therefore, I'm spooked. I'm going to put the money elsewhere.
Yeah, the concern is, I'm not going to say that we're going to head for an exact repeat of the 1930s after the stock market crash or anything like that, but it is a possibility. And if, for somebody who's 5 years of age or even 35 years of age, you're going to have, maybe 40 years to recover from that. But if my mother was to suffer a 50% loss, in her remaining 10 years or 15 years of life, I don't know that we'd be able to recover for that.
Does she have a paid-for house? Any debt?
She has no debt. She rents, and so her rent, we calculated about $65,000 a year is what she would need to live on. 36% of that would represent the rent, around $2,000 a month, including the garage and some other amenities that come with the rent, and a car, which we're accruing that 65,000 would accrue. I don't know, about $200 or $300 a month to replace the car.
And what's her monthly income?
Her monthly, well, she used to make an equivalent in today's terms, $120,000, but she's down to $60,000.
What do you mean in today's terms? What is her paycheck today?
Her paycheck today is $60,000. That's because she's only working she's essentially working the equivalent of part-time, I guess you would say.
Got it.
She's not able to work the hours that she used to due to, getting older.
Yeah, that's a young man's game. Flight attendant it's a lot on the body to travel that much and that up and down and early mornings and late nights. But Sean, I'll tell you what I would tell, my mother, who is not 75 yet, but I would still trust the U.S. stock market, and I would still invest in those mutual funds and index funds. And if you want to go a little more conservative, a 70-30 split and not have it all in stocks, that's okay. But I would not turn out of fear of what could be to things like gold funds or U.S. Treasuries. I don't think it's going to beat inflation over the long run. And I truly have faith in the U.S. economy. So that's just personally what I would do. I appreciate the call, though. Thank you so much. Ken, are you with us here? We got some mic feedback.
Yeah, I'm actually here. I'm not sure what's going on. Something's happening in my ears.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah, it's live. We know. We'll power through it. There we go. Whatever just happened.
But Ken, this is a real thing. People getting spooked by the U.S. economy, wanting to pull their money out, wanting to put it in things like gold and other commodities. What do you tell people when it comes to fear as it relates to their life?
Okay, so we have to figure out if fear is telling us the truth and protecting us, like if I were to get on a ledge, overlooking a very steep cliff, and fear says, whoa, back up. Now, that's fear telling me you're too close to the edge, and it's protecting me. But many times fear is not telling us the truth. It's not truth-based. Therefore, it is holding us back. So we want to sit down and we want to go, okay, let's just take this situation, okay? Because there's a lot of, my goodness. I don't want to take a shot at Facebook, but I'm just going to keep it real. My dad is in his 70s. The guy's on Facebook all day long. Okay. And it's just one scary link after another link that this guy's clicking on, and the algorithm is feeding him. And so there are a lot of people going, the world is going to crash, it's coming to an end, and all this stuff. That could happen. If it does, the stock market and how much money your mom has left over is the least of your worries.
Yeah.
So I would act as though everything is going to be fine, and let's move forward that way. And that's how I would choose to take on that fear.
That's a good plan. And also working with a financial advisor who can show you real data, real facts, real perspective. And I would highly encourage her to check out RamseySolutions.com and get some help there. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Hey, George Camel here. If you love the show and you want a deeper dive on your money journey, we've got a weekly newsletter that gives you helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for the newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm George Camel, co-host of Smart Money Happy Hour, joined by Ken Coleman, host of The Ken Coleman Show. And we are here to serve you today, America. You can give us a call at 888-825-5225. If you've got that burning question, don't be shy. This is the day to call. Ken and I, we haven't been called intimidating many times in our life.
Yeah, that's a great point. In fact, we couldn't intimidate an ant. Let's be honest.
I once fought an ant and I lost.
Exactly. We have fun together. We enjoy being together. We're here to help you. We're not going to yell at you. We're going to encourage you. And George is one half of the wildly popular duo, Rachel Cruz being the other half of Smart Money Happy Hour. And I'd like to point out that in the Yeti here is just water.
Thank you for pointing that out.
No cocktails or mocktails on the set today.
I am unbeveraged.
I bet the advice would be better, though. I wonder.
That's fair.
I wouldn't work any longer, but the advice would be great for one show.
Well, hey, if you want some of that advice, you can try us, 888-825-5225. John is kicking us off in Seattle. John, welcome to the show.
John.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. So my wife and I are 33. We're on baby steps 4 through 6 right now. And step 4, we've got figured out the retirement stuff. And right now we're looking at step 5 and 6. We've got 2 kids, 1 more on the way. And so I'm focusing in on step 5 right now, which is the kids' college fund. And the main question I have is basically how much to put in there for each of the kids. Because, it seems like there's my view. So basically, my wife and I both value education. I've got an MBA and my wife's got a doctorate. And it's worked for us. Our careers made sense. We paid off our debt. And the career paths we chose made sense. We have constant discussions about, we want our kids to go into certain degrees, certain areas maybe. We're kind of discussing how much should we put away? Should we cover their undergrad? Should we set aside some stuff for graduate? Like, should we set them up for our path? I'm personally on the fence between, I think 10 to 20 years from now, the ROI on certain degrees might not make sense. Like, if my son decides he wants to do a 6-month plumber course and become an apprentice and start his own business and take some business courses on the side and, start off with no debt, I would rather have that. But at the same time, we're kind of talking about, well, if they're going to go down the education route, we want them to have some skin in the game, because my wife and I both had to pay student loans, and it kind of forced us to work while we were in school.
All right, John,
Good experience.
John, let me jump in for a second. We're going to get to the money piece. How old are the kids?
So our oldest is 5, youngest is 2, and then the other one's on the way.
Okay, John, first of all, I love your heart and I love that you're intent on this, but you need to breathe, man. They're 2 and 5. Like, just enjoy finger painting and sock puppets and whatever else is going on. Okay. That's the first thing. Secondly, you asked the question, and maybe it was rhetorical, but I'm going to take it literally. As a guy who is way further down the path than you, I'm only speaking from experience. You don't even have to call this wisdom. Okay. You have no freaking idea what your kids are going to decide to do. You have no freaking idea what the world of work is going to look like at that point. And you're absolutely right about the ROI. The ROI on a college degree right now is already plummeting. And that world is changing rapidly. I talk about that almost every day on the Ken Coleman Show. As the work guy here at Ramsey, I'm focusing on the education piece that qualifies you for work. But let me also say, you said, should we steer them? Should we push them in the direction that we went? No. No, let your kids choose their own path. It's a disaster situation for parents to put pressure on these kids to do what you did.
Where I'm coming from with that is that, like if there's if there's a pot of money put aside and they want to do, I don't know, a fine arts degree or something to that nature, that, there would be some stipulations attached to the money. Maybe that, the ROI would need to be positive on it for them to do it. And we would want to have that discussion.
But those variables are not even fully in your control. So the variable I would put on it is we're going to give you this money and you're going to graduate from your undergrad in 4 years.
Yeah.
We're not going to slouch around. We're not going to do this in 6 years. We're going to get good grades and graduate.
Or you're going to use that for your plumbing trade school and you're going to be a freaking awesome plumber. And you're just going to pull your pants up higher than most plumbers. That's all we ask. It's a little thing.
That's big.
Just for all of us. Can we all agree on that one? Yeah. So, John, like, put the money aside. You can put it in a 529.
But don't underfund it to allow them to go into debt to teach them a life lesson. Listen, I took on student loan debt. There was no wonderful lessons I learned. My life just would have been better without student loans. I worked just as hard.
Everyone's life.
That was because I had great parents who raised me well to work hard. Now, could we have done better on the financial side and paid cash for college? That would have been great. But as far as work ethic and the character that your kids are going to have, you have a direct influence on that. We don't know if they're going to go into fine arts or they're going to be pro athletes or if they're going to be YouTubers like Ken and I. We don't know. And 20 years from now, we don't know what the world of work looks like or the world of college looks like. So the best thing I can do is, what can I do today to set my kids up for tomorrow and the next day? And that means throwing money into the 529, knowing we don't know what the future holds. And the good news is, John, with the new Secure Act 2.0, you can now convert up to $35,000 of that money to a Roth IRA if they don't use it for college. So not all is lost here.
Would your recommendation be to do the 529 then, or should?
Yes.
'Cause if I don't know how much I'm ultimately gonna, should I just throw it in a brokerage account? It's the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. There's tax advantages with the 529 that you're not going to get with the brokerage account. And so I like the actual 529. The other thing is brokerage account becomes, well, we want to get a down payment on a rental property because we heard Airbnb's hot.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like the 529 having a specific goal that is meant for this child. And again, you can always change beneficiaries. What if one of them goes to a really expensive school and one of them does the trades?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of options you have when you have money. The options when you don't is student loan debt.
Yeah.
And to me and for me and my family, that's not an option. It's off the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. But be prepared, John. I want to prepare your heart because you and your wife represent a lot of parents out there that I'm speaking to. You need to be okay if your kid doesn't want to go get the fancy degree at the fancy college that you went to. That does not mean they're losers. And college and the value of a degree is going to be so wildly different in 15, 16, 18 years. I can't even begin to tell you all. I'm telling you right now, folks, it's going to be very decentralized and splintered from the offering that you see today. It's too much money, it's too much debt, and it's so little relevance to the American workplace right now. Right now, imagine what it's going to be like in 5 to 7 years. You're going to have a bunch of empty buildings. And you know what I say? Good riddance.
Ken, I've heard you say this before. Is a college degree the only way, and is it the best way to the work you want to do? Let's focus on the work we want to do instead of some degree we want to get.
That's
and
right.
We'll have a generation that's actually happy with their work and making good money. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey folks, Dr. John Deloney here with some great news. You get to choose. Whatever you do, good or bad moving forward, the choice is yours. And when you're intentional about making good choices over time, they become healthy habits, like choosing to slow down and make time for a daily practice of prayer and meditation. One thing that has helped me with a daily practice of meditation and prayer is Hallow. Hallow is the #1 prayer app in the world, and they're giving you 3 months free to get started. That's 3 months free to prioritize your mental health and be intentional about finding peace through calming music, prayers, meditation, and more. And Hallow isn't just Catholic. You can tailor the content towards your faith tradition. If you don't have a faith tradition, this is a great place to learn more about it. From scripture readings and prayers to journaling, Hallow makes it easy to practice mindfulness, build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual life, and choose peace. Remember, Hallow is giving you 90 days free. Imagine the peaceful habits you can establish in 90 days. Go to hallow.com/Ramsey today and follow the simple prompts to start your free 90-day trial. That's hallow.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Ken Coleman this hour. Give us a call at 888-825-5225. So, Ken, many moons ago, just over 90 days ago,
great reference,
on the show, I said, hey, here's a challenge for the listeners out there, for the credit card people. Because we talked about, I did a poll saying, hey, what is the reason you won't cut up the credit card? And there's a lot of reasons, right? We got fraud protections, and I love my rewards, and it's the convenience and fear, security glands flaring up. And so I challenged everyone to say, hey, for 90 days, don't use your credit card. Put it in a block of ice, lock it in a safe, and just use your debit card, stick to cash, and see how it changes your spending. So this has now been 90 days. And so what I want to do is challenge the listeners. If you actually had committed to this, I know you did, because about at least 67 people said, I'm committing to
67. That's a great response.
At least. So I got to go back through my DMs and find it. There's some homework on my end.
Okay.
But if that was you, I need you to reach out to me at George Camel with a K on Instagram. Send me a DM if that was you. Now, if you didn't do the challenge, don't bother me, all right? But if this was you...
Just follow me at Ken Coleman. So there, how about that?
Yes, and you can talk to Ken. He's lonely over there.
Yeah, I love to get in the DMs.
There we go.
No, I don't.
But I'm curious, the results of this.
I actually would like to know
anecdotal
that too.
Study.
Can we say if for some reason you're listening right now, call in the show?
I would love that. If you're listening and you were one of those people who said, I committed, here's what happened.
Let's put him
good or bad.
Put him to the front of the line, Christian, and let's see if we have someone who took George up on his challenge and they're listening to us right now and they call in and they did not use their credit card for 90 days.
My hypothesis was you're going to spend way less, you're going to have way more margin, and you won't miss the precious rewards, and you're going to cut up that card once and for all.
Have you seen the legislation that is pending in Congress right now?
Yes.
Have you heard about this?
Well, Visa and MasterCard have been fighting to increase the transaction fees, the interchange fees they charge to businesses.
Right.
And which will end up, by the way, hurting the consumer, because what do businesses do? You think they're just going to take it and just pay the extra 1%? No, they're going to increase prices by at least that.
They're going to pass it on. They're going to make your sweater a little bit more expensive, George.
Exactly. And so we're all complaining about inflation while getting excited about our rewards cards, which are causing all of this to happen. Because guess what? Visa and MasterCard are not gifting you that out of generosity.
That's the fees.
They need to make money in order to pass on your rewards, which in turn makes all of the things you buy more expensive,
right. But
which in turn makes you complain about inflation.
They love those rewards. So those could go away, George. Yes?
It would be a great thing.
A great day in America.
A great day in America if we had to live without our rewards, which, by the way, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, was not even a thing. So the idea that you can't live without a credit card, I go, well, how? I just watched this Burger King ad, Ken. Did you see this? It was a 1993 Burger King ad where they had just started accepting credit cards. And they were interviewing people in the restaurant they were going, oh my gosh, what do you think about this? And they're going, well, I mean, I can't imagine someone swiping their credit card for fast food.
Right.
Who's going to do that?
Yeah, it's nuts. Do you remember when the whole rewards thing actually became a thing?
I mean, it was in my lifetime because I grew up with it. Yeah. And so at least, I'm going to say 20, 25 years ago, credit card companies started becoming aware of this.
I'm going to get you, what color hat would you like? Trucker hat, solid color. It can't be red. And I'll explain that in just a moment.
Okay, I'll go black.
Okay, I'm going to get you a black trucker's hat that says Marfa on the front of it. MARFA. Okay. Make America reward free again.
Wow. I don't know if it'll stick, but I will proudly wear that hat, Ken.
It's probably not.
And now I understand why it can't be red. Thank you for that.
You see what I was doing there?
Yes.
Because you were so passionate, like it would be a great day in America if we had no more credit card rewards. So I thought, well, you need a Marfa hat.
You heard great in America.
Make America reward free again. I feel like it's too many letters.
If you've ever wondered what it's like to be inside the brain of Ken Coleman, that was a great picture.
There it is.
It's like a 15-year-old and a 75-year-old all at once.
Yeah.
It's an old man with a young brain. I love it. Thank you for that, Ken.
Thank you. I feel like that's a compliment.
Yeah, I'll report back, Ken, as I start to inquire with all the people that committed to the challenge, but I can't wait to see the results.
I think it's a great challenge.
All right, let's get to the phones. Gina is in Sacramento. Gina, welcome to the show.
Thank you for taking my call. I have a quick question on investing. I'm on baby steps 4 and 6, and I've always heard that you should contribute to your company retirement plan to get the match. But what about when the rate of return is really low and I'm having better returns in my Roth IRA? Should I just max that out instead?
I don't see it as an either or. And so if you look at our investing strategy, it's 5 words. Math beats Roth, beats traditional. And so what is your match with your employer?
So if I contribute 4%, they will contribute 2%, and that's the maximum.
Okay, great. So we're going to take that first because that's a 100% return. So regardless of what the fund is that you're invested in, you just doubled your money instantly, right?
But so
or at least 50%
should I pay attention? Should I pay attention to what the annualized rate is of return or the cumulative?
The annualized is what you're looking for. And you want to look at this over a long period of time. So I wouldn't be looking 1 year in.
4 years. And for the past 4 years, my annualized rate of return is 1.55%.
Okay. And what about your Roth IRA?
That is 4.8.
Okay. So what you want to look at is what am I invested in the Roth IRA? What actually makes up, is it a mutual fund inside of there? What are you invested in?
Yeah, it's just I picked a fund and then it just does its thing.
Okay. So what I would do is look in with your 403B plan and say, what am I invested in? Did I choose some rough funds? Do I need to change my allocations going forward? And that's what I would do. And usually there's going to be a financial advisor tied to your HR's 403B plan that you can reach out to with those kinds of questions. And if there isn't, you can always reach out to a SmartVestor Pro.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. That's a great question. And I don't want you to get hung up because a lot of people, Ken, we always spout these numbers. We say, hey, you can get 11% annual average return if you invest in the stock market. And they go, where's my 11%? I'm getting 4% this year. And I'm going, well, yeah, I never said every single year on command it's going to be an exact 11%. I mean, I'm looking here, Ken, at this chart, right? This is the S&P 500. This represents the 500 largest, most established companies. And that's really what we call the stock market. They represent the overall stock market. And in 2020, we had a return of 18.4%. Everyone would say that's amazing. Yep. 2021, 28% in 2021. And then 2022 happened and everyone freaked out because it was negative 18%.
What are we on track for right now?
We are back up. So far, 2023, 17%. So when you look at those numbers, and you can see this chart, there's a whole lot of blue, which means we're up, and a whole little bit of red. And so when you look at the long-term track record of the stock market, most of the time it's trending up. And yes, if you look at a given period, a 6 months period, a year period, you may not see 11% or 18% or 20%. But overall, what you're looking for is a good, solid mutual fund. It has a good track record. It's invested in the right kinds of companies. We recommend splitting it into 4 different types of mutual funds. So you've got growth and income, aggressive growth, and international. And what that does, it just diversifies. It just says, hey, let's not put all of our eggs in the Silicon Valley basket of all these hot tech startups. Mm-hmm. Let's not put all of our eggs in the old big companies like the Home Depots of the world. And let's also invest in some international companies like Samsung or Nestle so that if the U.S. market takes a dip, we found there tends to be an inverse relationship where the international funds could balance that out. And so that's all you're doing. And over the course of your investing journey, which is not a year, it's 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you're going to see great returns and you will thank us later. So you can look into it. I wouldn't stress. I don't look at my 401k every 3 months to see, am I up, am I down? I just invest for the long haul. And once a year, once every 6 months, I'll check it just to see what's going on. But I don't stress out about it.
Yeah, I don't even think about it. I just know that what the average is saying, it's going to be great, and just hold on to it. And, there's so much fear-mongering out there and so much news about everything that's bad. You'd be surprised if you just took 3 days, just 3, and didn't pay attention to the news at all, how much better you feel, and then check back in and go, my life doesn't suck.
That's right. And remember this, it's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. Don't jump off the roller coaster until the ride is over, my friends. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget.
This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Ken Coleman this hour. 888-825-5225. We are here for you, helping you take the right next step in your life, in your work, and your money. Martha is up next in Orlando. Martha, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call, first of all.
Sure.
I've got a quick situation. I'm getting ready to retire in the next couple of years. I'm debt-free, and my question is, I won't have a lot of income coming in. Once I retire, I am self-employed, like I said, not going to get much in Social Security. So therefore, I've got a couple of investment properties to actually generate income right now. So I was thinking my personal home, the homestead property, if it's wise to do a reverse mortgage on that, take the money from that and buy another property, cash, obviously, and use that as income. Rent it out and use the money as income.
Where did you hear about this idea of the reverse mortgage?
Oh, I'm in real estate.
Oh, okay. So you know the ins and outs of these deals.
Yes.
Oh, boy. And it still sounds like a good idea to you.
Yes, because,
even though
I stay in my home.
Tom Selleck is selling these, schlepping them on late night television.
Yes.
Oh, boy. Well, I have strong feelings against reverse mortgages, so I cannot in good faith tell you or anyone else who would call into the show that this is a wise decision for their financial future. It puts your home at risk. It's adding more debt to your name. It's causing you to go backwards financially, and the interest and fees can reduce that equity even further. And if you don't meet the loan obligations, you know what happens? You're in real estate. Foreclosure.
Yes. Yeah, but the reverse mortgage is until you pass away. You can stay there as long as you can.
Sure, but I'm confused why this is a money-making scheme to do the reverse mortgage to get a rental.
Because I'll get the equity that I got from my home, take half of it, okay, and put it into another home.
Is the home paid for?
It. Huh?
Is the home paid for?
Yes.
So you have no payments on the home, and we're going to create a payment. They're going to pay you by robbing your equity over time.
No, they're not going to pay me. I'm going to take all the equities on that house and put it into
So you're talking about a home equity loan?
No. You can take the funds.
A lump sum?
A lump sum.
Okay. And that's what you would do?
That's enough. That's going to give me more than $400,000, close to $500,000, which I can use and purchase another home and then generate income that way.
But that's essentially like you saying, hey, should I go take out a mortgage for $500,000 as a retirement plan?
Yeah, but I'm not paying on it.
How are you? I don't understand how you don't think this debt is attached to your name.
It is attached, but I'm not making payments. I need to make income.
Well, this isn't the plan if we're talking about making income.
This is
so
a
let's
disastrous
find a better
idea.
plan. So you have rentals. What are the rental properties worth?
One is worth $400,000.
Okay. And the other one?
Is $80,000.
Okay. And are they paid for, or do you have mortgages on them?
No, they're paid for. Everything's paid for.
And what's your current house worth?
It's over $900,000.
Love it. And do you have anything else to your name? Any other assets? Anything in retirement?
Very little.
Okay. So on paper, I'm seeing you have $1.5 million in real estate or so?
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't this be a better plan if you're looking at making income? Why don't we sell maybe your personal, maybe we sell everything and we figure out a new living situation so that you can free up that cash and invest that instead? Because these rental properties, what are they making?
And investing, I don't know how to invest. I've got burned in all these investments. And
well, I want you to make wise investments. There's a broad spectrum from sucks to amazing when it comes to investing. But I'm telling you, you don't have to do this rental income plan. What are they bringing in total? What's the net profit per month?
I will say they bring like $2,400.
Okay, and that's not enough for you to live off of? On top of Social Security?
No.
Okay. So how much do you need to live off of?
I need at least another, I will say about $7,000.
You have $10,000 in expenses with no payments?
Yeah, I like to travel.
But you don't have enough money to travel.
That's not a living expense. That's like me saying, if George asking me, Ken, how much you need to live off of, and I throw a huge number out there, and I go, well, I like to drive.
I need. I told you.
No, that's not what you need. No, that's not. No, George has been very nice. I'm going to be very honest with you.
You need $7,600 every single month to travel?
No. Well, first of all, no, stop. You don't need to travel.
It was
rhetorical,
Ken.
What you need is to pay. I know, but I'm irritated listening to all this.
Martha, we irritated Ken.
Everything is paid. Okay, I got my car.
He's getting a little verklempt.
Yeah, but you don't need $10,000. You don't need $10,000. You need to pay for your utilities. You need to pay for your food. You need to pay for your clothes, transportation, other miscellaneous expenses. You can save up, but you don't need that kind of money. And to take out a loan from your equity, a reverse mortgage to get another house to spit off a little bit of money for all of the risk and all of the upkeep and everything else, it's just nonsensical. It doesn't make any sense. I would rather you sell all your properties and scale back your living. And you're going to have a very nice nest egg.
I guess so. I guess you're right.
Yeah, I mean, you can decide.
Less travel for me then. That means less travel, less spending money.
But less risk. Debt is risk.
How old are you, Martha?
I'm 61.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
How many more working years do you have?
Now it's going to give it another couple more years.
Okay. What's your income?
Huh?
What's your income? Aside from the rental properties, what do you do for a living and how much do you make?
We generate a good $200 right now.
Who's we?
My husband and I.
Okay. So he's working as well. Does he have any assets, or is this what you laid out? Is that everything between the both of you?
That's everything for us.
Okay. So what if we put this $200 to good work for the next 5 years? Because you know what $200,000 is for 5 years? That means $1 million is going to pass through your fingers over the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what most people do is they wake up and go, oh my gosh, we made $200,000. We're doing our taxes. I don't know where it all went. We got nothing to show for it. Or you could take advantage of all these catch-up contributions, start maxing out your retirement accounts, start socking away money, and have some retirement with dignity. That's my goal for you. But the way to do it, you've done such a great job getting these places paid off, and now you're telling me you want to go back into debt, which is not going to set you up in retirement.
But it is. I don't see it as a debt.
You don't see a mortgage as a debt?
No, because that's until I
They've done some really great marketing then, haven't they?
It's literally in the program. It's called a reverse mortgage.
Do you know where the word mortgage comes from? It's a French word, death pledge.
Okay.
Did you know that? It's a real fun, dark fact for you, Martha. And so if you're telling me that's not debt, when the word death pledge is in it, I don't know what to tell you. You called the wrong show today. But I want you to have an amazing retirement. I want you to travel. And I also know that going into debt is going to hinder your ability to travel. And right now we're getting starry-eyed over what a rental income could do for us. And I also know during COVID, you couldn't even collect rent. There was a moratorium, and it caused a lot of people to freak out for good reason.
True. That part is true.
And so that I don't want you in a situation like that. And what happens if the HVAC goes or the renters don't pay or you have trouble filling that spot? It's not a foolproof money-making
you're over
scheme.
in the Amalfi Coast. What are you going to do then?
I would set some goals over what we're going to do for the next 5 years because I don't want you working in your 70s.
Okay.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay. And I would not be scared of the stock market. If you are, keep listening to this show. Connect with one of our SmartVestor pros. They've got a heart of a teacher. And this is a network of investing professionals across the country. They don't work for us, but they will take care of you and help guide you along this investing journey and give you some peace that your money's not going to disappear.
Are you were serious about the mortgage? It's a French word for death?
That's a real
thought
thing,
you might have
Ken.
been messing with her.
No. You can Google this, folks.
I wonder how you say it.
Pledge.
Mortgage.
Our team just put it up there. French. Mort. Death.
Wow.
Gauge. Pledge.
George, you blew my mind.
I'm full of fun facts. If you guys ever want to do a trivia night around mortgages, take me with you. I'll be your Huckleberry. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Visit Blinds.com to get up to 45% off. That's Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Ken Coleman. It's a free call at 888-825-5225. My mama always told me that sharing is caring, Ken, and so I'd really appreciate it if everyone out there, if you enjoy the show, consider sharing it with a friend, hitting the share button wherever you're listening, leave a review, and just tell people about it. Hit the subscribe button. Let the algorithms know you're into it so that we can displace all the filth that's out there, all the toxic advice that's constantly swirling around us. And I know it is because you guys send it to us going, have you guys seen this? You got to talk about this on the show. And so one of the ways we can help with that is getting to the top of your YouTube algorithms and podcast algorithms so that people know we're out here telling them the truth even when it hurts. Yeah. So we really appreciate that.
And, throw a little something extra in if you like George and I together. We've been called the root beer float of the Ramsey Show. So we're very proud of that moniker.
I don't know why, but it's something it's on my wall.
Yeah. Is it really?
Picture me and you, 8x10, root beer float across the top. I say that, now some fan is going to send us an 8x10.
I know. We don't know. We were joking. We're just having fun.
It's going to be the Step Brothers movie poster, but with our faces on it instead.
Yeah.
Root beer float.
You know why we do this show, George?
Why?
For people like Chappie on line 2.
That's right. I've been waiting. This might be the first Chappie in years of hosting.
It's the first Chappie I've ever talked to in my life, and I couldn't be more excited.
Chappie's going to deliver out in San Francisco. What's up, Chappie?
How's it going?
Chappie!
Curious, is that a God-given name?
If God is my mother, then possibly. But no, my real name, unfortunately, is Christopher, but I've gone by Chappie.
I'd stick with Chappie.
3 months old. So,
that's awesome.
Nobody knows me as Christopher. I don't even answer to Christopher.
We will not call you that. Name. You are Chappie to us, and that's all you'll ever be.
I love it. How can we help today?
Well, I want to say thank you for all the great content, conversations. Really enjoyed the stuff with Alex Hermosi and Grant Stefan and whatnot.
Thank you.
My question is around student loans, as many are at my age, around 30 years old. So I've got some cash on hand, but I have currently student loans of about $17,300. And basically the question is, should I just take all the cash and, one lump sum payment, basically at the end of this month, pay it all off? Or kind of, break that down to whatever, $1,000 a month, smaller, multiple payments.
How much cash do you have?
In total, like cash on hand across cash, savings, and investments, $113,000.
Wow.
I've got 30 odd in a savings account that was for a house, but didn't buy a house. So the market was challenging to get into, and then obviously interest rates go up.
Oh,
so basically taking, that $17K that's owed out of the $30,000 that I have, and just paying it all off.
Dude, pay it off today.
Yes, like right now on the phone with us would be even better. Just bam, done.
Sign in, log on, click.
Yeah.
Done. What's holding you back? Why are you wanting to do it over a longer period of time?
I guess just like the shock value of like taking $17,000 out of my account, writing that check.
You know what's even greater shock value? Taking out $17,000 in student loan debt.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. we don't even blink an eye when we let students do this, do we? Here's $80,000. Yeah. We don't know. We've never even seen $80,000.
Good for you. Way to go. Your future is going to be great. You're $100,000 in debt. Woohoo!
That's a great impression, Ken. They sound just like that.
I think it does, yeah.
So, Chappie, I'm paying this thing off today, man. I'm never looking back. I don't think you're going to regret it. I understand that's a lot of money to see blown in one fell swoop, but that's exactly what you need to do is get out of debt as soon as possible, because that means those next paychecks all stay with you.
That's the issue.
You're not worried about what the next headline is around student loans. You're just going, big whoop, change the channel.
Just a fun exercise real quick, Chappie. Let's just assume that you've paid it off right now. How do you think that's going to feel? What do you think that's going to be? What's it going to feel like emotionally?
It'll feel good. Also seeing my bank account drop.
I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask you that.
Annoying, but
no,
it would be nice to be debt free and then be able to take that what is $300 a month.
Yes.
Payment.
Well, the truth is, Chappie, that $17,000, it doesn't have your name on it in your bank account. It looks like it does. It's got Sally Mae's name on it.
Yeah, but let's focus. How much money will you have left after paying the 17 off?
Whatever, 113 minus 17.
That's right. Hey, bro, that's a lot of money for a debt-free guy who's got a huge future in front of him. I'm trying to change your mindset. You're so hung up on watching 17 disappear from your bank account, but you forgot that you're watching 17 disappear from your debt balance sheet.
So $95K remaining.
$95K debt-free and $300 a month raise? That's what you should be thinking about. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen after you do that. Chappie's going to be happy. I had to do it.
How did I not get there first? I'm a little upset with myself.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you, man.
We want to see a happy Chappie.
Be gone. This is Ken's new tagline for the rest of the hour.
We should move on to the next call because I can't stop myself.
It's like a toddler.
It just sounds too good.
I love it. Well, next up is a less exciting name, but a beautiful name. Brooke is with us in Oklahoma City. How are you, Brooke?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Well, I kind of have a situation, and I was hoping to get some advice or just any ideas on how, I could mess up my financial situation or fix my messed up financial situation.
Okay. What's wrong with it?
Okay, so I was living with my grandparents, and it became a very toxic environment because my grandma has bipolar, and how that can be like. And I was living there, no bills. I was going to school, and I ended up running a balance with the school I was going to. So I basically had to drop out because I had no way to pay for it and get a job. Well, I was working a job. It wasn't making enough at all. Then I got an apartment, and I found a different job where it made a little bit more, but it wasn't cutting it, and every month I was living paycheck to paycheck, and so I thought, okay, well, let's get another job, try to find something more high paying, and no one is going to hire me without a degree. That's just a simple fact.
Not true.
Okay, so I see what you mean, but I thought,
do you have a job right now?
Go back to school. I do.
Okay, what do you make?
$52K a year.
Good for you.
Without a degree?
Without a degree,
I
yes.
thought you just said no one's going to hire you without a degree. You're making $52K.
Well, yes, but it's not enough to pay my bills.
What are your bills? Do you have debt?
Yes, I've in order to live here, I've maxed out my credit cards. I've taken out different loans, and I'm working full time and going full time at school because I found a grant to get my school account right.
Okay, Brooke, let's pause. Let's just say we put this whole thing on pause and we go, let's get a financial foundation under us. Let's get ahead of these payments. Right. Let's clean up this debt. Let's stop maxing out the cards. Could you do that? Because right now you're running 1,000,000 miles an hour just speaking. I imagine that's how your life is too, and we want to help you with that.
One of the things I'm going to recommend is And George, I want you to give her some stuff to help. But really fast, you have got to pause on school. You do not need to be going to school full time. Full stop, pause. I don't care about the grant, stop. And you need to be working a second, maybe a third job to get your income up in the short term so that we can get control of your debt and your expenses. Let's stabilize your financial life. Then we'll worry about the professional choices.
Absolutely. And Brooke, I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to gift you 1 year of our premium version of Every Dollar. And here's what I want you to do. Go to everydollar.com/budgeting. Everyone listening can do this. I'm doing a free training on September 26th on how to break the paycheck to paycheck cycle in 90 days. This was made specifically for people like you. It's at 12:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 Central Time. And I'm going to walk you through how to use our tool to become debt-free, to get that emergency fund filled up, to create that margin, and you're going to be so excited to budget. So hang on the line. I'm going to gift you 1 year of that, and then join us, everydollar.com/budgeting for that webinar, and I'm going to walk you through that specifically and say, hey, I'm Brooke from the show. I'll put you right to the front of the line to get your question answered, Brooke. Thank you so much for the call. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books.
Hey, it's Ken. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel, joined by my colleague Ken Coleman. And we are here for you this hour, taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Now, of course, I would love to take your money questions, and Ken always dutifully jumps in with some great advice. But Ken's expertise lies in the work space.
Purpose and work.
There's so many people out there struggling with that, Ken.
Yeah,
and
it's just not
inextricably tied to money.
Yeah.
Because Dave always says your greatest wealth-building tool is your income.
Yeah, 98% of net worth millionaires said that they loved their work. So the idea of getting up on Monday, and you're going to have some bad days, some long days, but the idea that you can do work that you really are good at, that you enjoy, that creates results that you care about, that is not some pipe dream. That's not a fantastical, nursery rhyme. So we're here to help with that, to get you in the right seat of the bus, on the right bus, and watch your money, watch your relationships, watch your health, every area of your life improve.
Love it. Well, let's get it kicked off with TJ in Chicago. TJ, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, good afternoon, Ken and George. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You bet.
Well, I got kind of a work-life balance question for you, and I'm wondering to try to get your input on it.
Sure.
Basically, I'm 43. I've worked multiple jobs my whole life, up to 3 jobs. My parents owned a local restaurant. I cooked that for 10 plus years, and went to college, trade school, worked in the automotive industry. And when I graduated from high school, I actually started, and I currently own and operate my own mobile DJ service. So I worked 3 jobs, gone 7 days a week. Me and my wife, when we got married, we were high school sweethearts. We got married. We made the joint decision that she would be home and to raise our 3 boys, which she had done and did a great job with. Well, now, like I said, we're both 43. Now she wants me home a little bit more. And I'm finding myself struggling, to try to find mentally and adjust myself to not work as hard or work as much as what I was doing. Like I said, we both own our own businesses. She works part-time. She pretty much picks her own hours. I'm gone pretty much all the weekends, 43 weekends a year. And then I work a 40-hour-a-week job.
With the mobile DJ stuff?
So the mobile DJ?
Yeah.
Why can't you hire some young blood to go out there and travel for you?
Well, that's the problem. I do have another crew that goes with me. To me, it's not work. It's a passion. I love it.
Okay, so hold on a second.
7 days a week.
So are you still working 3 jobs or just the one? Mobile DJ on the weekends and the 40-hour job during the week?
Yep, I'm a sales rep for a company in the Chicago area. Yep. So
what kind of money are you making as a mobile DJ? How close to matching or overcoming your current day job?
I make more than what I do at my full-time job. I make roughly $105,000 a year DJing. I make about $93,000 with my sales job.
So this begs the question: why aren't you knocking the 40-hour a week job off and more time with mama and doing what you love on the weekends?
Well, health insurance, that's the biggest one. Health insurance, and it's bad. And my wife, she says it too. I'm greedy. Why not make the money while I can?
You're going to lose your wife. You want to lose your wife? You're going to lose your wife over this.
No, right. And that's what she says to me. She's like, not too many wives would want their husbands gone as much as you are. But I have not missed out on any of our family functions. We do have one.
Stop.
Our oldest is going to college.
TJ, your wife wants you to slow down.
Yes.
She may have been agreeable, but I don't think she's going to continue to be agreeable, and this isn't good for you. And I'm going to suggest to you that there's more to it than greed. I think that's a cheap excuse for you as to why you're working all the time. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I don't want to in any way attack you. There's something going on with you where you need to be busy all the time. And you've got your wife crying out gently saying, I want you here. I want us to have more time together. You've done a great job so far. You got your kids out. They're doing their thing. You're financially great. You've got this passion project, which is spinning off more money than your day job. And I think there's something that you're running from. And I think the busier you are, the less you have to listen to it. Am I right or am I wrong? And I don't mind being wrong.
No, you're absolutely right. I feel like I got to be doing something all the time. I just can't sit down and
but there's a reason.
Relax.
There's a reason for that. And you need to sit with a counselor and a therapist and I'm not going to put you on the spot here, but I'm telling you, you're like the people who run all the time, ultra marathoners. They're running from something. They just are. I'm not attacking.
Yeah,
I'm not.
right.
No. Listen, some people are smiling in the booth. Listen, I'm telling you, if you're all the time, like every spare minute of your day, you're exercising or running, it's because you're trying to stay ahead of something as opposed to meeting it head on. And you've admitted this, and your wife is crying out for you, and you better listen. And I'm just going to tell you, you need to figure out why you want to be working all the time, because that's not natural, which means it's not healthy.
Right. Nope, you're absolutely right, 100% right.
So, TJ, there's a few options here. Number one, you drop the DJ stuff. You choose the local gig sparingly.
Don't drop the DJ. He loves that.
He loves it, but what if he could do the local ones and hire the team out, and he still makes some money off of that? He can still choose.
Yeah.
Or you leave this full-time job, you just DJ, and that's what you do, and you're home all week with your wife, and you're gone on the weekends.
Yep. Get healthy.
But we can't continue doing all of this, multiple jobs, never at home, and your wife wondering, did I sign up to be single? Because the kids are gone. Now she's really feeling
what
it.
She said.
Dude.
That's a word for word of what exactly she said. Now, we only have one of our sons is in college, and we're cash flowing that. So he's going to college debt-free. And we have two other sons. One's a junior in high school, and the other is in 8th grade. So we do have money set aside.
But it's even more important that you're in the home. I misunderstood. I thought all three were gone. Now it's even double important that you're there. And don't play the whole, I'm at all their sporting events. Doesn't matter. If you're not around the house and you're not there, you're setting a precedent and an example for your boys that it's okay to be checked out as long as you say you're working or you're busy. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And listen, I know that sounds tough. It's not. My heart's hurting for you and your wife. I'm glad you admitted it. I want you to go see a counselor. I'm going to challenge you. You need to be in a couple therapy sessions before 30 days is up and begin to dive in deep as to what's got you running so fast. What are you running from? Healing, health, everything's on the other side of that.
Thanks for the call, TJ. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Ken Coleman this hour. Open phones at 888-825-5225. So, Ken, as you know, I'm now officially a YouTuber like you. You were always my mentor, my role model. And so
that's just couldn't be further from the truth. You're crushing it. You're out doing all the cool videos.
Well, we have a personal finance. Cool. We have a personal finance YouTube channel. A lot of people looking for advice financially from YouTube. And so we're trying to step into that space. We've had the channel since April. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed. We're already approaching 100,000 subscribers there. But Ken, this video that went up today is currently the highest performing video we've ever done, and it correlates to what you talk about. And here's the title: What It Takes to Be Financially Secure in America. So it's about this magic salary. And there was a report that said people need $233,000 to feel financially secure.
Okay.
Which, I know, I'm waiting. You were scoffing moments ago at that.
Yeah, it's a little high.
And so we addressed that in the video. But I wanted your take because a lot of people think, well, I need to make this astronomical salary in my work. Otherwise, I'm screwed. I'm never going to make it. I'll never hit my goals. Woe is me. I need to ask my boss for a raise.
Yeah.
The corporate toxic culture is the thing holding me down. What is the truth about salary?
Well, first of all, let's just go to some real data instead of...
Boo! Feelings over facts, Ken.
I know. So first, we know that that teachers are the third largest group of net worth millionaires. The median salary for teachers in this country is about $63,000. One of those two, if memory serves. And so that is a function of those teachers are living on less than they make. And as a result, they are very secure. Were there seasons, were there years where maybe it was tight for them? Yes, but what did they do? They adjusted their income, they adjusted their expectations. And that's what I want to drop in here. So here's what happens. The reason I'm shaking my head when I hear that $233,000 is this is from a study, some type of study or poll? Okay.
Yeah, this was a legitimate study.
Here's what concerns me about that.
Bankrate 2023 is where the study
Bankrate 2023 study. That means there are a lot of Americans, who have unrealistic expectations. Now, let me tell you what happens with unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations of making $233,000 a year, because let me just tell you, very few people make that kind of money. If you look at the number, I wish I had that number, but it would shock you how few people in America make less than $150,000, all right? Unrealistic expectations lead to unmet expectations.
Ooh.
So you think about a kid. When we're parenting kids, we're always trying to help their expectations be realistic. Why? Because we want them to not be devastated. And so young people and immature people have these crazy expectations. And so you put out this number and it's so hard to get to and it's so unrealistic based on the way they're living and acting. Now, I can teach anybody how to make $233,000, but some people are going to get to it faster than others. Okay. And so their expectations are so unrealistic and their lifestyle doesn't have anything in it that would allow them to get there. So here's what happens. Then they hope and they wish and they hope and they wish and they hope and they wish, and all of a sudden it turns into despair and frustration and anger and I deserve this and I deserve that. That's where this is going for so many people. And so it's so wildly outsized and it's crazy talk because they're looking at their life with how much debt they have, the kind of house they want. So in that number of 233, I'm guessing is a bigger house than they've ever had before based on what their mom and daddy had or whatever. And no sacrificing of their current lifestyle. Zero sacrifice.
That's another
right.
big one.
Yeah. Like I drove a piece of garbage the first 4 years of my marriage. I mean, I've joked about a Ford Taurus. I was driving to work one day, didn't have air conditioning, and I was driving to work, and it was hot and humid, and I was at a stoplight, and all of a sudden I felt something on top of my head. I thought, was that a fly or something? And I went up, and it was the frickin' ceiling carpet, whatever you call it.
The liner came down on you.
Fell down on my head. And I got home at night, and I went and got a stapler. Power stapler, you know?
Oh, yeah. Staple gun.
Out of the garage. Staple gun, thank you. Just went.
I was picturing Office Space, like red stapler.
No.
Just up there.
To your point, staple gun, put 3 staples in the top, and drove that way for another year. But it's all about sacrifice. Like, I didn't need a car.
Well, and you learn how to live on what you make currently.
That's the point.
And suddenly you make more because you're not desperate.
With the long view in mind. So you have too many people thinking about a number that's really hard to get to instead of looking at their actual life and what they want their life to look like and where will they sacrifice and what matters most. That's the problem. And in America, we've been conditioned by all the social media, all the television commercials, that the American dream is equal to the American stuff and all the nice sizzle stuff. So this is a real problem, George, for this generation, because you're going to have a lot of really unhappy people because they have unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
I hate to go so deep on it.
You're dead on.
But that's what's underneath that number.
Yeah. And
It's
so we always
wacky.
tell people it's about your income. Yes, you can get your income up, but it's also learning to live on less than you make. And what that sometimes means is we have to cut our lifestyle down to nothing for a season to get out of debt, which frees up payments. And all of a sudden you go, oh, I can live off $60,000. I just can't also have a car loan, a mortgage, a student loan, and max out my credit cards. So we have to make some compromises here. And I walk people through it in this video. You can go check it out on my YouTube channel. We'll link in the show notes if you want to check that out, or you can just search for George Camel with a K on YouTube and pipe in with your thoughts in the comments, as people tend to do, Ken.
You get in there still?
I peruse, you know. Sometimes I'll give a little like or a dislike.
What's your big takeaway in the video? What are you saying in your video?
Well, the big takeaway is that I believe everyone can learn to live on what they currently make. Okay. Now, there's the exceptions to the rule. If you're in poverty and you make $25,000 a year and you're trying to live in a certain area, it's going to be tough. But for most people, Ken, they make good money. It just disappears because they're giving it all to a financial system designed to take it from them. And so I believe that I could help you budget your way out of most fiascos.
Are you getting killed on this, or are people agreeing with you?
That's a great question, Ken. I haven't searched today as I've been busy at work, but the top comments are a lot of people saying, hey, that was me. I was that guy living paycheck to paycheck, wondering when it was going to change for me, wondering when someone else was going to fix all my problems. And the truth is, Ken, I have a lot of empathy because it's a tough time out there with inflation and the housing market, and cost of living has gone up and the groceries a little higher. But I don't think it's impossible. I'm still very optimistic that this is still the best time in American history to build wealth.
Yeah.
Our parents didn't have side hustles they could go do like we do today. We can't jump on an app and just download it and go make some money. And so the opportunity that's out there, and we meet these people, they're 18 years old and they're running businesses making 6 figures with no college degrees.
Yeah.
And so don't tell me it's not possible. Just tell me you're not willing to do what it takes to get there. That's fine. We can agree on that. Not everyone wants to work that hard.
Yeah.
But I believe there's so much opportunity out there, and we've seen too many people on our debt-free stage going, I'm a teacher who made $35,000 a year. I'm 71 years old, and I became debt-free. We had a couple yesterday, 58 and 62. 7 years later, they're completely debt-free, house and everything. They never made more than $100,000 a year in their lifetime.
Wow.
And they're millionaires with a paid-for house.
Yeah.
And so I'm just here to tell you it can be done once we put the excuses away. Once we say, all right, despite inflation, despite who's president, despite the grocery costs, we're going to build wealth anyways. And there is something so rock and roll about going, I'm in control. I'm not letting anyone steal my joy, my thunder, my paycheck, my peace. You're invincible at that point. And that's what we see on the debt-free stage is people who are invincible to life.
You know, there's something underneath all of this that we've been talking about, is that certain people just are able to pay attention, yes, to what's going on in the world, but just kind of go, you know what, I'm going to march to the beat of my own drum. And I'm not going to get hung up on all that other stuff. I'm not going to say I got to have this car. I'm not going to say I've got to travel on these trips. I'm just going to do my life the way that I believe I'm supposed to do it, not get hung up on all the comparison stuff. and embrace contentment.
That's huge.
And that's so sad. Underneath that data is so sad.
I know. Well, I'm going to be walking people through this. September 26th, I'll do a free virtual training, 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central Time, how to break this paycheck to paycheck cycle, how to make your income that you currently have enough. All by doing a budget, by paying attention to your money, and by simple little sacrifices. You can join it. Go to everydollar.com/budgeting. It's completely free. We'll see you then. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Ken Coleman. Hey, our buddy Dr. John Deloney has got a brand new book coming out called Building a Non-Anxious Life. You may have heard about it a time or two on this show, but let me tell you, time is running out to get all the bonuses. And y'all know I like to take advantage of a good deal, and this is as good as it gets. $75 in free bonus items. And if you're wondering, what is the pitch for this book? Well, we all know that anxiety is a pandemic across the nation. It's everywhere. But anxiety isn't the problem, John Deloney says. The problem is that we're unsafe, we're disconnected, we're unhealthy, and we're living like we have no say in what happens next. Life just happens to us. And so Dr. Deloney walks you through the 6 daily choices to recognize and break free from a life spinning out of control. And you're going to learn effective techniques to identify and respond to all of life's challenges and transform your life. So pre-order today. It's $20 and you get $75 in free bonus items by doing that, including access to his newest talk, Smoke, Fire, and Freedom, as well as the ebook and audiobook of Building a Non-Anxious Life, all for $20. Go pre-order today at RamseySolutions.com. Sharina joins us up next in D.C. Sharina, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Thanks for taking my call today.
Sure.
So yes, I'm calling in. I'm actually new to this whole program. I just started about 2 weeks ago, so I've been
Awesome.
doing the classes online, watching a couple of the YouTube videos. I did download the Every Dollar app, so I've been working on that, and I'm
Love
trying to get clarity of everything that's going on, which is not pretty.
That
And,
financial mirror is tough to look at the first time around.
It's very hard, yes, but it's definitely eye-opening. And I'm just not sure, I guess, kind of where to start. I do have debt. I am a single parent of two school-age children, two school-age kids, and I do work one job, so I'm not really sure where to start.
Okay, so how much debt do you have?
So I have about $29,000 in school loans, about $9,000 in credit cards, and another like $6,500 in like medical bills, and lawyer fees.
Okay, and no car payment?
No car payment.
Okay, and you're renting?
So I live with family, but I do pay rent here, and I do own a home as well.
Oh, what's going on with this home?
So I lived in it for about 2 years, and I ended up moving back in with family just because I needed help with my kids. So I'm actually using it as a rental property now.
Okay, what does that bring in? What's the net profit?
So it's about, I know the rental there is about $2,100, and the mortgage is like $1,200.
Okay. Now, what is your income from this one job?
I make about $4,800 a year.
$48,000 a year?
Oh, sorry, $48,000. Yes, correct.
Okay, and that's your gross pay versus take home?
Correct.
Okay, so you're taking home less than that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that helps us. Thank you for going through all the numbers. So your question was,
Yeah.
how do I even get started? This debt is crippling. Based on your numbers you shared here, it looks like you've got about $45,000 in debt total?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. So that's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Do you have any money in the bank currently?
No.
So let's say $0 to your name, getting by paycheck to paycheck. All right, what's the rental property worth?
It's worth about it's about $278 right now.
$278. What do you owe on it?
I owe $166.
Okay, so you've got about $100,000 of equity in that home.
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's one option that's kind of the nuclear option if you wanted to do it, and that is sell the rental, because we're not in a place to be homeowners, let alone real estate investors right now, because you're feeling the crunch, you're living with family. I want you to get out of this, and I want you to be a real estate investor if that's what your heart wants. But right now, it's not even fun.
Right.
Like, you're making a little money off of this, but one thing goes wrong. What happens when the HVAC blows on that thing? How are you going to pay for it?
I wouldn't even know.
Credit cards, personal loans, going further into debt. That's how you'd pay for it. And we know because that's the calls we get on the show. So that is one option. The other option is increasing your income. Now, you've got 2 kiddos at home. What does childcare look like with the family situation?
So they do before and after school. So it's about maybe $250 a month total.
Okay. To cover
and
that?
I do get child support monthly, typically.
Okay. Is that on top of your income?
Yes.
Okay. And no alimony, just child support?
No, correct.
Okay. And what do you do for work?
I'm a referral coordinator, so I work in the medical field.
Cool. I'm wondering, is there room for growth in that medical field so we can get your income up? Ken is already nodding yes. What kind of work is that?
So I work remotely from home. I used to work as a medical assistant in offices. So yeah, I've always been looking for a second income. I actually used to do Instacart for a little bit, but I ended up stopped doing it because when I went to go do my taxes, the tax person said that I need to cut that because I'm going to be jumping into, I guess, a new tax bracket, and it's not worth it.
Oh, no.
See, this is bad
You had
advice.
a CPA that didn't understand how tax brackets work?
Oh,
yeah.
It's like literally this bonehead said to you, don't make more money because you're going to have to pay more in taxes. I got news for you. The more money you make, you're always going to get more taken out of the check. It's just how it works.
Oh, boy.
But
They
I'm
need
just
to go
curious,
back to school.
What does the ladder look like in your world, the type of work you do in the medical field? What would be another rung or two up the ladder? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm currently in school because I thought I wanted to do nursing, but I ended up that's not what I want to go for. So I'm actually trying to go get my bachelor's in medical. Oh my gosh, I can't even think right now.
That's okay.
I'm trying to become a leader, get into leadership in the medical field, like management.
Do you need a degree for that?
Yes, a lot of them are requiring at least a bachelor's.
Okay, good. How far
at least
out?
in our area.
How long before you get that finished?
Oh, a while. I just started the beginning of
bless your
this
heart.
year. Yeah.
Let me say this. I want to throw it back to George real quick. I would be okay with her pausing on that schooling maybe, so she's at the beginning, in order to maybe get financially stable.
Yeah, we need a foundation built.
And I want to see what promotion you could get without the degree. Because if we can get more income, whether it's Instacart or something else, and I know you got the little ones, but if you can start making more money, ideally getting promoted up the ladder where you are or inside of another medical organization, and then we get your debt under control, we pay that debt off, you're going to have a massive raise. And now all of a sudden you're going to have more margin than ever. And then we can tackle school. But my concern, if I could play older brother with you just for a moment, I mean, first of all, single mom, my heart goes out to you. And you're an absolute heroine. You're a rock star. You're amazing. Okay. But I don't want you to try to do too much at the same time. And I think the degree will always be there. And I also know, because I've coached thousands of people through promotions, you can get promoted without a degree. Can you ultimately get where you want to go without it? I'm trusting you on this that maybe the answer is no. But the degree will be there. I'd rather you put all your extra time and energy outside of taking care of those precious little ones into making more money and paying off this debt. George, would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's press pause right now on the schooling, because that's money you don't need to be spending either.
And you're not paying much in rent, it sounds like. What is your rent every month?
$500.
Okay.
Well, that's good news.
So your expenses are low. It sounds like you're bringing in over $3,000 a month with this, if you add in the rental income, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the question is, how much of that can we start to throw at this debt? And right now, your baby step one, $1,000 starter emergency fund. Could you have that in 30 days if you really tried? Sell some stuff, get on a budget?
I could.
Great. That puts you at baby step two. Start to lay out these debts, smallest to largest balance, ignore the interest rates, and go, what is that smallest one? I'm going to attack it with a vengeance while paying minimums on the rest. And Financial Peace will walk you through that. You already have that. Every dollar, the app you just downloaded, that's going to help you create this margin. You can sign up for that webinar I'm doing. We'll show you how to use it. everydollar.com/budgeting is the place to go for that. But we want to walk with you, Sharina, because we believe that you're going to conquer this debt. You're going to call back, and we're going to do your debt-free scream on the air. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Campbell, joined by Ken Coleman. Our scripture of the day, Luke 9:23. Then he said to them all, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me. Mark Twain once said, the two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Sounds like a old school Ken Coleman right there. I like that.
Except it's not. It's Mark Twain. Hey, bonus points if you can tell me his real name. That's his pen name.
Listen, Ken, there's enough I got to keep in my brain. What's his real name?
Just a little bonus information for our audience. Samuel Clemens.
It is.
The real life name of Mark Twain. Look at that. See, even the audience.
That rung a bell.
Even the folks in the lobby are like, thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. Just a little, I can drop that at my next cocktail party.
I was going to say, you're Mark Twain trivia night.
Yeah, or that.
I love a trivia night. Invite me, folks.
Hey, speaking of trivia, people got questions.
Yeah, they do.
People have questions.
Today's question of the day is brought to you by Neighborly, your hub for home services. It's the one place to find reliable HVAC, plumbing, and electrical providers near you. Brands like AirServe, Mr. Rooter, and Mr. Electric have local pros ready to help. So stop wasting time scrolling through pages of results. Just go visit neighborly.com today.
By the way, one of my high school nicknames was Mr. Electric, but
I was going to guess Mr. Rooter. It just sounds funnier to me. It's a funnier nickname.
Oh, man, I got to leave that alone.
Mr. Rooter.
Mr. Rooter, that's what they called me. Today's question comes from Tess in Arizona. I'm looking to buy a new car soon. I'm seeing lots of incentives, almost $2,000 off when financing. I have the money saved, so what if, oh boy, George, I financed for the discount, then paid off before the first note is due? Of course. Would I be charged interest or any other fees? Is this considered debt?
Genius. Okay, Tess, yes, this is considered debt. I don't know how you could say I'm financing and it's not debt. Now, what you're saying is, hey, I have the money. What's the big deal? I'm being a smart consumer, getting the discount, and then I'll pay it off immediately. Well, there's some things you have to consider here. Number one, when you're financing, the dealer can throw in a lot of different extra fees they tack on there, but they've distracted you, right, with this little carrot they've dangled, which is the $2,000 off.
Oh, yeah, you can hear it.
$2,000
off.
We don't know. We don't actually know what a good deal is in this scenario until you really look at the numbers and you start. And once you're at that point, Ken, once you're across the desk in the financing office, the party's over. They know they've got you.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure when you get in those offices.
And there could be prepayment penalties because they know people are going to do this. And so they say, hey, you can't pay this off within this time frame.
Yep.
And the other thing is the lender, the financing office, loses the commission if you pay it off in a short window.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things there to consider, and if you have the cash, I don't know why you're messing with that. I think you're going to get a better deal, and honestly, I would run from that dealership. It sounds like you're just seeing this incentive online, but I would go get a better deal elsewhere. a reputable, independent used car dealer, you're going to get a better car there. And when you said new car,
yeah, I know.
That's also that's a big trigger for me, Ken. There's only a few people who should be buying brand new cars, and that is folks with $1 million net worth and no debt.
Yeah.
Because the hit you're taking on depreciation is insane.
Yeah.
New cars lose 60% of their value in the first 5 years.
Yeah.
And I just did a video on this, Ken, on my YouTube channel.
Of course you did.
Get this, 9 days ago, and it's called Why is No One Talking About America's Wealth Killer? And it has almost 500,000 views.
Wow.
And people,
George,
for once, are agreeing with me.
You're big time. 500,000
Well,
views.
I think it's because this is such a hot topic.
Well, of course it is. Yeah, it's, everybody's driving around the cars.
And you know what else they say? Well, Ken, I mean, used cars are as expensive as new cars these days.
No, not true.
It's wiser to just buy a new car.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's insane.
By the way, all this hubbub about electric cars. Have you seen the prices on the electric cars?
Insane.
Now, you bought a used one.
Mine's 10 years old.
Yeah. And by the way, it doesn't look 10 years old.
Thank you. I try to take care of it.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. But there's this pressure, and there's going to be a whole wave of pressure to buy the electric car. It is all a big giant collusion, and it's forcing people to think, well, it's where we're going. We got to get one. Might as well get it. And next thing you know, they're driving around with the $1,500 car payment.
Oh my gosh. Because they're thinking, well, one day they're going to force us to drive. First of all, there would be an American revolt if they forced us all. And I know there's some things in California going on. I can't even count that as a legitimate state at this point for all the stuff they're forcing people to do. But in the great state of Tennessee, you drive what you want. But with that, it's your American right to drive stupidly expensive cars. And they're for your ego. Don't tell me they're for reliability and for your children's safety.
Yeah.
I just don't buy it.
I'm going the other direction, folks. I'm going to be driving. Once I get the kids, everybody's out, I've already got, I got my classic 72
I love
convertible
that. Carmen
Ghia.
Love that thing.
Little air-cooled engine. I'm going old school, baby. I'm just going to putt around and put out all kinds of old emissions.
Love it.
You just take this emission and shove it. That's what I'm going to do. Old cars.
You told them.
You can't track me because I'm just along in my little antique.
Elon knows where I am at all times.
Yeah, exactly.
He's checking in. He'll pipe through my car speaker at any moment.
Exactly. Another reason why I wouldn't buy an electric car.
There we go. Well, all that to say, Tess, I would not do it for the incentive and financing. You're getting screwed. And if you think you're winning, you're definitely getting screwed. Because the dealerships are not losing on these deals. Whenever they're like, well, you're really taking us to the cleaners here. My manager's real upset with me. No, they never even talked to the manager. They went to take a smoke break and came back because they knew they got you in the bag.
I'm so glad you brought that up. You need to do a video on YouTube on that. Like walking through, because you're
the whole
hilarious.
rigmarole.
What's actually happening when they do okay, let me go talk to my manager.
Yeah.
They're back there talking about what money they've put on what football game.
Like, I'm really going out on a ledge here for you. Manager's docking my pay for this one. I'm not even making a commission, really.
Yeah, what a ruse
it's always it's exhausting.
Give me a break.
This is why I rarely buy cars, because it's exhausting. When I do, I don't deal with these dealerships. No, thank you.
How do you feel about buying a car directly from a real person? That's where I like to go.
You know what? We just filmed a video on this. We're going to release it soon on buying used cars, selling used cars, the right way to do it. I think it's great. Now, do your due diligence. Don't buy a used car from a random Joe Schmo and then yell at us when it's a clunker. Get an inspection.
Yeah.
You can go to Firestone, get this done for $50. They'll do a 120-point inspection. The other thing to do is actually check the Carfax, check the history, make sure it has a clean title. Meet them at a police station. Meet them at the bank. Do your due diligence when it comes to these things. But once you do
the police station,
yeah, that's a great place to meet for any transaction.
I mean, it is, but that seems like a little much. I think the grocery store is fine.
Well, in your neighborhood, Ken. But in my seedy neighborhood, no, it's fine. But yeah, bring a friend along. Do what you got to do.
That's good. That's very practical information.
I don't think we have time for another question, Ken. I'm sorry, Diane. We love you. We'll get you on the next one. It's risky. You know what we'll do? We'll get her to. We'll kick her to Ken's show. Does that work?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
We'll do that. Diane, we'll take you on the Ken Coleman Show. Christian will make sure we get to you. Sorry,
Ken got excited about cars.
Well, listen, we see TikTok videos. We've played it on the show before where people are bragging about having a combined $2,000+ of car payments. Two people. in a family where, they're probably making a combined 60, 70 grand. And
That's
they're carrying
a new level of stupidity when you're bragging about how stupid your decision was.
Yeah, but you know why they don't think it's stupid? Because we've been told that having a nice car is a right. It is. If you're an American, you have the right to go down to Billy Bob's Truck Emporium and get yourself a truck that costs $80,000, I'm probably low price. I'm probably
the last stat I checked, it was 15% of folks with car payments have a payment over $1,000 for one car.
Did you hear that? I got to tell you, I need some Maalox.
That's almost 1 out of 5 people walking around with over $1,000 in a car payment, and then the same people, Ken, who are like, "Man, this president's really killing us with inflation. These grocery prices are really crushing us, man."
Right.
And I'm going, dude, you drive a car with a $1,500 car payment.
Right. I can help you with inflation. Stop spending your money on stupid stuff, you bonehead.
There it is. That's how I want to end today's show. Yeah. It feels appropriate. Well, Ken, it's been fun. Always enjoy good. Hosting with you. Thank you for listening, America. Thanks to all the folks in the booth, Christian, Will, James, Zach, Andrew, keeping the show afloat for us today. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, spend wisely, save intentionally, and give generously. Hey, it's George Camel. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.